Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out again this week. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. I know many of you are using the hashtag Critical Hit on Twitter and letting us know that you're listening to our shows and sharing it. And I'm really pleased with the number of you that respond to people who are asking questions on what RPG podcast they should be listening to. And everybody responds, go listen to Critical Hit. So thank you so much for spreading the good word, and let's get some more people spreading that good word. Also, you may be aware that we have a Patreon page at patreon.com/majorspoilers. If you are a patron at the $5 or higher level, you already know what happens next week because you're listening to next week's episode right now, unless, of course, you're listening to this episode a week ahead of everyone else, at which point you still have to wait a week until next week's episode. Well, it's complicated. It's complicated. But just thank you. Thank you, everyone who's a patron over at patreon.com/majorspoilers. So let us play some games now and see what happens, Rodrigo. We all did some singing last week.
Yes.
Yep.
Critical Hit.
On Critical Hit!
Was it live or was it Memorex? I don't know. We don't use tape anymore.
Yeah. Damn it! Don't make me feel old.
You're old.
You're always going to be older than me.
You know, Matthew, it is... Here. Okay, here. Let me see if I can get this right. It has been longer since that ad came out. Since the time you were born to when that ad came out.
Uh-huh.
So therefore, you're old.
Okay.
There you go. Does that make you feel better?
Well, no, Tyrannosaurus Rex was closer to today than it was to Stegosaurus, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything on a grand enough time scale.
When it comes to the Memorex tapes, it does.
Yeah, 1986, man. That's not that long.
T-Rex is closer to Memorex tapes than it is to Dimetrodon.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? They're both made out of the same thing. Petroleum.
I think I'm going to need you to roll nature on that one, dude, because...
It's proven fact. Dinosaurs are all turned to oil and petroleum. Go look it up.
So you're saying that dinosaurs are made of petroleum?
Exactly.
All right.
Little known fact, but I've seen the Jurassic Park.
You just made it up.
No. Real facts for real people. Which was also a show back when Memorex tapes were a big deal.
I had a terrible crush on Sarah Purcell.
Anyway,
so last
Rodrigo,
time,
let's play a game.
Okay. Like you guys said, you guys did some singing.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Why were you guys singing?
We found some singing
to activate
stones.
some singing stones.
Mm-hmm.
Which seemed to be some sort of dwarven transport device, which now has left us with the pointy end of a halberd up our nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, pretty much. So yes, you guys were able to activate the singing stones and now find yourselves elsewhere, as you pointed out, with some spear points pointed. Each of you has at least one pointed more or less at your throat. As you might imagine, at the other end of those pole arms are some dwarves. These guys are heavily armored. There's some male and female dwarves. There's probably about 7 here, so there's a couple extra spear points to go around. They are surrounding you, and as you guys were kind of facing outward and you find yourselves now in a different stone circle, you are again sort of facing outward, and all of these guys are kind of in a hold at bay position. I'm sure there's a moment of disorientation, but then you guys are able to take in that is in fact what is happening. And one of the dwarves is like, identify yourselves.
Do I recognize any of these dwarves?
Mm-mm.
So she'll be like, I'm you can call me Little Sparkle. We previously had an alliance with
Ulridon.
Olvidon. And I've got some friends here, possibly, if they're still alive, Captain Otto Gemhand or Barrett Demonfoe.
They a couple of them exchange glances, without moving their halberds, just real quickly. And they're like, likely story. At which point, just sort of from around the corner, you guys hear, stand down, soldier. They're telling the truth. And you guys can see Otto Gemhand coming around the bend. He's a big blonde dwarf who has exchanged his leather captain's coat for some heavier armor. It's got a cool metal shoulder pad and a nice belt and a headband with a big piece of metal that covers his brow and his nose bridge. He does look worse for wear. Definitely moving a little slower, and face looks a little bit more worn, and his eyes aren't quite as bright as you remember. He doesn't necessarily look like he's got full-on cataracts, but he does look like there's kind of a little bit of a film over them. But he seems to be able to see well enough. As he comes around, he's like, "Well, go on, put those away." And the soldiers pull back their spears and hold them up. Put the spear point up at attention.
It's really good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I have to say, I did not expect to see any of you again, and certainly not for you to come in through this way.
She'll gesture to Albrecht. We got your message.
Yeah.
Oh,
I showed them the way.
Well. It's good to see dwarves of our generation. And he reaches out a hand for a handshake.
I take it.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Alec Ghostbeard.
Oh, Ghostbeard, huh?
Yeah. And kind of on my own, different, but apparently overlapping mission from the gods.
Yes, that's what happens when you're on the losing side of a war. Suddenly all of your missions start with, let's not die.
Yeah.
Sakar?
Otto.
He looks over at the last two.
Hello. I'm Seven Owls Wise.
I'm Dolan.
What happened to your former companions?
Well, one of them merged with the pillar, and we picked up the bird. And
I didn't mean your former companions.
I think he's we're not sure. Well, we are sure about Oram. We unfortunately have him trapped in a crystal that was embedded in the head of a powerful gith. We haven't been able to figure out how to destroy it without possibly injuring him. We don't know where anyone else is. There's rumors Ket is dead, and Randus seems to be having some kind of time issues.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Indeed.
I see what you did there. Well, let's get you settled in. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about.
Sounds good.
The guard steps aside for you guys to get off the stone circle. Otto leads you down a hallway, and then out a passageway that leads to a very large vault with what appears to be most of a city inside. In the city, you see lots of dwarves moving around, as well as these a lot of bright green moss along the walls, and then these weird brown and yellow structures along the ceiling. They look kind of like stalactites, but they look too fat at the base, and they kind of are a little bit too round, but there are lots of them. They basically cover the most of the entirety of the ceiling. Like, well, welcome to Bumblehearth, last free bastion in the 1,000-hectare armory.
Thank you.
That we know of, anyway.
Fair enough.
Well, I'm honestly really impressed that you've managed to maintain this, given the force we saw when we were sailing in.
Well, fortunately, and he says as he basically walks you down a set of stairs to the main vault area. Fortunately, when you know your enemy, you can anticipate what they're going to do. If you see along the walls there and there, we have this place pretty well warded. It's very difficult for ghosts to get in here, and the enemy just doesn't bring enough mortal troops to mount a large enough assault. So for now, as far as our resources are able to maintain, we are safe.
That's
I
good.
see.
It is, except that we don't really have enough resources to mount any sort of offensive. So we're
Well,
kind of in a war of attrition here.
we might be able to help. I just realized out of character or in character, we didn't bring the gourds with us. So,
I mean, you did.
oh, okay, good.
We totally did. We had to.
Yeah.
They're always with us.
In
Cool.
spirit.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We might have a way of dealing with the pillar, and if our previous successes have been any indication, that's going to mess things up for the forces here.
I mean, I'm sure it will be, but the pillar is emanating, as far as we know, from the capital, which is the most heavily guarded place in the island.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I don't suppose you have any secret underground ways to get into it?
I mean, we do, but it's not going to do you much good.
Well, that's where we come in. My mission was to deliver these gourds to the pillar, which will deactivate the pillar and shut it down completely.
Yes, well, our problems don't come from the pillar. It comes from, we'll say, tens of thousands of conscripted ghosts and thousands of these brand new shades that are like super ghosts.
Great. Do you know where they come from?
And of course, the handful of Shadar Kai kicking around. Can't forget about those guys.
What's a Shadow Kai?
The Shadow Realm beings, folk.
Oh, are they associated with the Huntress?
The Huntress, yep.
Great.
Well, you know what they say. Ask them for the dead drow stuff.
They say that? What does that even mean?
I'm not entirely sure, but that's what they say.
Yeah, must have been lost in translation. He leads you to a fairly large building, which is guarded, but they just let him right in. Eventually, you get to a room, and in the room is another dwarf that some of you recognize. You spot Barrett Demonfoe, who is there. Also looks worse for wear. Her hair is tied back in a braid, but you can see streaks of white. And again, she also looks worn, and on her forehead is a circle with some spikies coming out of it. You'd recognize it generally as the symbol of the Obsidian Huntress if somebody had carved it out of her forehead with an ice pick.
Ugh.
It is now healed, but it's a pretty gnarly scar.
It's good to see you, Barrett, but what happened?
She looks at Otto, who is like, yeah, I hadn't told him yet. And he removes his headband to reveal that he has basically that going on as well.
Just because of you were resurrected?
Yes. He motions for everybody to sit down. And there's like a big kind of like war table. You guys sit down, and it's funny because the table is like so far below where you would like hope a table would be. But once you adjust to that, it's not a big deal. Otto is like, yeah, I'm afraid the reason why this place was conquered as quickly as it was is because of us. That being resurrected must have created some sort of conduit. Each of us had at least 100 of these shades use our bodies to transport themselves here. Should have been a lethal proposition, but I think Barrett and I were a little tougher. None of the rest of the crew made it through the event.
I'm sorry for your
Sorry.
loss.
That's on us for crashing the ship.
No, we had no way of knowing, and if nothing else, we're still alive and able to at least do something about it now.
So the scarring, the symbol seems to have turned off her ability to use you?
I think so. I think it was, we believe it to have been a single shot that was probably that was supposed to leave us as husks, but it didn't. And as far as we can tell, there's no further death essence coming from it. So we believe that it's not going to happen again, but.
Well, that's something. So, now that they're here, do they need any form of tether, or have you had any success defeating them?
No, and no. These new things are very powerful. We are not exactly sure where they come from or what their deal is, but we know they're some form of ghost. They're just some kind of new magically manipulated super ghost. And they are quite deadly. Our efforts to at first reconquer the island and then later on simply to hold them at bay have proven pretty useless. In fact, our wards are good at holding off ghosts, but they're not entirely capable of keeping the wraiths outside or the shades outside. But if they actually get in through the warding, they tend to be much more sluggish and some of their power is limited because of the wards. So they've only done it twice to a limited effect.
Well, that's something. Well, we want to offer whatever assistance we can. How many survivors are there here?
There are several thousand people here. So for now, we are fine. We've got plenty of food and plenty of able-bodied soldiers. So we're not, again, as far as survival. And of course, he like points to the ceiling, which there's nothing here. It was like, and of course, there's plenty of mead. So that's not an issue.
How are you getting mead?
Oh, through the bees.
You've got bees in here?
Yes. Did you not see the structures on the ceiling?
Oh, those are hives? I thought that they were some form of rock formation.
No, those are beehives. That's why this place is called
Bumble Hearth.
Yep,
Ha!
that's right.
I didn't know that there were cave bees.
Oh, there are. Dwarves have been making mead with cave bees for as long as there's been dwarven cities. They feed on the moss and also on plants outside. There are very small channels through the rock that they can get through. Warding the ceilings has been a challenge, but we've done it. Their channels are much too small for anything else to get through.
You've done some really good work here.
Well, really, we've just done what we can. A lot of the credit should go to Alreden's people who established this place and had things more or less ready to go. We've just been providing them with what intelligence we can gather and with whatever expertise we can bring. One of the doors opens and another dwarf walks in. There's a big, dark-skinned dwarf with like bright red hair and it's kind of like a mane. He's just got like big stand-up-y red hair and his beard is kind of all over the place. He is wearing a military jacket with like, epaulets and stuff. And kind of jokingly walks in, slams the doors behind him and says, "Am I late for a meeting?" And Otto motions for him to sit. He says, "Everyone, this is General Denby. He is, would you say, the de facto leader of this resistance?" He pulls out his chair and sits down. Like, what do you mean de facto?
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you guys too. I recognize some of you from these guys' tall tales.
Well, you can call me Little Sparkle. We're here to help however we can. Our goal is to try to shut down the pillar. I understand that might be rather difficult. So if there's anything that we can do to try to clear a path to it or get you guys into you seem to be as safe as we can get at this point. Everywhere else we know is similarly under siege or has been entirely gutted. So I wish I could offer you anything more beyond that, but we could try to make things a little bit easier if we possibly had a route to shut down the pillar.
Well, that's not going to happen with our forces the way they are. Even if you're all, I don't know, master rogues and can sneak yourselves all the way to the pillar, there's no way you're making it out of there alive once they notice that you're there. But there might be a way forward, he says, like looking at the other two local dwarves. We have been receiving reports of what we believe to be another cell, another resistance cell elsewhere in the island. Our scouts report that the occupying force is very frequently, near constantly, sending troops and pulling them back from other places to investigate or attack this other location, which is right around the city of Ferrofort. So someone is there. They're not responding to our base stone messages, but it could simply be that their base stone is damaged or never came back into repair. It actually takes some pretty advanced engineering to get those things to work properly. So if they don't have any engineers over there, they wouldn't be able to respond. And if they're anything like us, they're probably trapped where they are. So if we can establish contact, and especially if they have the resources to hold so many attempts to attack them at bay, if we can combine our forces, we might actually be able to retake the capital, and certainly to get you within striking distance of the pillar.
Well, we'd be happy to help you try to reconnect with the cell.
Yeah.
Do you have a sort of plan in mind to do so?
No, other than go there. Unfortunately, even though we've suspected this for some time, we cannot spare the personnel. We only have a handful of rangers, and they're our only way of keeping tabs on the enemy. So whoever goes will have to make a pretty perilous trek through the under tunnels and possibly past a few enemy camps.
Perilous treks past enemy camps is growing to become our specialty. So we just did it on the Bright Forest.
Oh, well,
Blue
good.
Forest.
Here I thought I was going to have to spend some personnel on this, but if you brave adventurers feel like you're up to the task, I certainly wouldn't stop you and would, in fact, greatly thank you if you were able to accomplish for us to get contact.
We'd be, I think, happy to.
Yeah.
At least to try.
If you could give us as best directions as you can, or any other resources that we might need to navigate these tunnels.
Oh, I'll try and get you everything you need. I can start taking care of that. I'm sure you and Barrett and Otto have lots to keep or to catch up on. So I'll just make myself scarce and do some actual work.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And he gets down from his chair and goes off.
Seems like a good time for some of that mead.
Agreed.
Yes, let's get you all fed and get you a place to stay.
Thank you.
Speaking of places to stay, how difficult are the ceilings if you're 6'5"?
Oh, these are vaults. I mean,
These are dwarven ceilings. They're 37 feet high.
yeah. You'd have to be yeah. You could easily park a stone giant anywhere here.
Good to know, in case I'm ever a stone giant.
Yeah.
Or a giant tree creature. These things happen.
Little
Yeah,
sparkle.
this is an old school dwarven city. The ceilings are high and ample, and there's lots of tunnels and lots of very, very cool, if slightly brutalist architecture.
Yeah.
Little sparkle mentioned something about a security system that you had installed in the waters outside the island.
Oh, yes. Ulradan shut those down, and we don't know how to turn them back on.
And what of
What?
Ulradon?
There's a lot of conflicting reports as to what happened to Ulradan. The most prevalent story is that after the initial attacks, there was to be a negotiation, at which point the Obsidian Huntress's delegation presented him with a gift. We don't know what it is, but once he received this gift, he just began walking towards the shore and then walked out past the Astral Sea and hasn't been seen since.
That's terrible.
Oh no.
Oh no, what?
The gems. The orbs.
What orbs are
What?
you talking about?
The psychic orbs? Is that what
Back
you're
on
talking
the
about?
docks?
The orbs.
What about
we each had possession of an orb, and anytime anyone placed it in their hands, they started walking away.
You're right. You're right.
Why would you have these things?
We didn't know what they did, and we thought they were safest with us.
Seven Owls looks at Albrecht and eyebrow raised with big eyes.
We still don't know what their purpose is.
I think we just learned what their purpose is.
We know what we've learned a use for them, unfortunately.
Well, how many were there?
5 of them.
Did
We
each of you have one?
Yep. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, presumably Asmodeus has the ones that Sakar and I were carrying. I think that he probably doesn't have Orum's because Orum was fully absorbed into the crystal. It's possible he had some way of extracting things that Orum was carrying, but it seems unlikely. And I have no idea what happened to Ket or Randus. I would guess he doesn't have Ket's either, considering that Ket was supposedly killed not in Asmodeus's custody. So, but 2 is enough to wreak that sort of havoc. It's possible that he's done this to someone else now.
I'm going to bet that he's done this to someone else multiple times.
Well, he would have to. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that's what he did to Great Tiger. Though I suspect that Great Tiger would have been able to see through such a ruse, considering his ability to see into the souls of others.
One hopes.
I don't know. Can God survive walking in the astral sea?
Probably.
Hopefully.
I mean, they're gods.
Anything can.
Well, at least it's better fate than some then, considering how many reports we've heard of gods that are just dead.
Fair point.
A little too soon there. Thanks.
No, wait.
I'm sorry. What?
The vixen said that her ghost might have more arms.
Okay.
Do any of the gods that we know to be dead have enough limbs to look like they have more than 2 arms?
Pretty sure Thene had multiple arms. Am I right, Rodrigo?
Did Thene have multiple arms? I don't think so. I think she just had multiple eyes, didn't she?
Oh, that was what I was thinking of then.
Was Bahamut a person, or was he a
Bahamut
dragon?
was a dragon.
He's a dragon.
But also sometimes a person.
Yes.
Yes, but I think he never had multiple arms. He was like a knight and a dragon.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
if
he
he
had
had
like
dragon
arms and
wings.
wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I suppose that's fair.
Fair.
And a tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thought.
Somehow doubt that if Bahamut was appearing as a ghost, he would appear to Drumstick.
Yeah.
On a ship
One would hope.
captained by his personal enforcer. Possible. Mere speculation at this point, in any case.
Yes, that's very unfortunate. I still don't know if there was a better. As soon as we had them, unfortunately, because of Ket, they were a liability. We just didn't know.
This whole thing was probably engineered long before we even started. I can't dwell on that, or else we have a mission.
We do.
If we can cross the uncrossable territory and find the other resistance group that may not exist, and find a way to communicate with this resistance group without anyone seeing, get them together, which is nearly impossible, and then attack the capital where the pillar is, there's a possibility that we might be able to finish another portion of Seven Owls Wise actual mission.
Well, you know what they say. When a million chances crop up 9 times out of 10.
No, it's Sakar, I found it infuriating at the time, but I do have to say I miss the optimism of Ket and Orm and Randus's arrogance about how they'd saved the world so many times before that this was probably nothing.
It's true. They've done it before, and we can do it again.
Yeah. We can try.
That's all one can do.
It really is at this point.
Well, then we should find this other camp.
How about we get you situated first? Get something to eat, get some rest.
That sounds
Probably
lovely.
Fair enough, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Been on a boat. Oh, do you have like, I don't know, like spring or like anything that like you could use to like actually properly groom around here?
To groom?
Yeah, to like bathe.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you. I've been unable to do that in a horrifically humiliating amount of time.
Yeah, of course. We've got water and we've got all manner of oils if you would like.
Thank you. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, let's get you guys let's get you guys settled in, and they will lead you out of this room and to another building, which is clearly like kind of an inn, but there don't seem to be a lot of people staying here. But they basically get a room for each of you, which is pretty big and spacious. Once they kind of show you to your rooms, they'll say, we've got food coming, so when you're ready, you can come downstairs.
All right.
Is there a razor?
Yeah, you can find a razor.
Cool. Sakar will avail himself of that razor.
Sparkle is going to avail herself of a bath or shower or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean they have like baths in this building.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Been unable to since we've been on a boat, and then there were 8 months of rat.
Mm. And then traipsing through a forest.
Yep, it's disgusting.
I thought you just like chewed on your elbows and covered things with oil.
Do you do that?
No.
Yeah. Don't be disgusting. I'm a tool using bird.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, let's get cleaned up and rested up.
Seven Owls
Yep.
will shake his robes out and then go drink some mead.
Priorities as always.
I'm sure
It's
it'll be
good
easy.
mead.
Love this mead. Thank the mead master.
Yeah, imagine when Sparkle comes down to like dinner, it becomes more like apparent to the people who had not previously met her that her like color has basically been off because it was so gross.
Too grody.
It's like, oh, your feathers are supposed to have like a luster as opposed to just being like a dull, I don't know, verdigreed green.
You're actually
all
green.
You're all shiny.
Ah, feels so good.
Have some
You
mead.
should definitely take a good bath.
I'm fine.
No, you should do it. I understand you've got the whole. Look, I'm very sorry about what happened to Bahamut. I really am. But you're still doing his work, and you're
Yes.
still doing good. You can take some time to.
I shook out my robe.
Did you wear clean clothes when you were a priest?
I mean, we shook out our robes.
Did you actually ever wash your robes?
I mean, somebody must have.
You
How
should.
about I arrange for you to get a clean robe? Would you accept that?
Kind of eyes narrow to a slit and just look at her. What is it that you want?
I want you to be happier.
I'll be happy when this mission is complete.
No, when this mission is complete, you might. You saw what happened to Znam. This might. You don't. These might be your final days as far as this goes.
Yes.
You shouldn't.
Days that should be spent in deep contemplation.
All right. Then how about you let me clean the robe so that you'll smell better for my behalf?
Seven Owls just whips off his robe. Fine.
Well, I really wasn't expecting to see your underoos, but here we are. All right, thanks.
Takes off the underoos too.
Oh, no, no.
Sits down and continues to drink his mead.
This was
Your idea.
no good deed.
Ill thought out.
Oh, gross.
Mead. Yummy mead.
Seems like a perfect time for Sakar to show up.
Have a robe thrown on him.
The underoos hit him in the face as he's walking in the room.
No,
No, Sparkle could have gotten those.
Yeah.
you can't throw that high.
I will
But-
go find a place to launder his robes and get him something to put on.
Yeah, there's facilities,
Great.
and once you get there, somebody will just take those and wash them for you.
Thank you.
That seems
Our,
uncomfortable.
Yes, this furniture is very well made.
All right. Sakar sits down next to Seven Owls Wise and sees about getting a mead.
A mead is handed to him.
He has cut his hair a little bit and is now once again the possessor of beautiful Nesmithian sideburns and a clean-shaven chin and upper lip.
What is a
Good
Nesmithian?
The long story. This is good mead.
It is very good mead. Thank the
Danzigian.
bees.
Yeah, meat's pretty hard to come by in the southern continent because the coil basically killed all the bees.
Oh, those horrible people.
Mechanization can do that.
Yeah, so basically, unless you're super rich and can have access to a private farm or something like that, you're I don't know, obligated to the alcohol tends to be either illicitly made or basically flavorless.
Wait, not everyone has their own apiary?
No.
Sometimes bygones.
It's very
An unusual upbringing, apparently.
and I feel like it's very strong.
It is very strong.
It is quite strong. This is dwarven mead.
Oh. Do dwarves have high intensity alcohol?
Well, there's a saying about paint and a footlocker.
I don't know what it is.
Let me put it another way. I feel it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna not drink too much of this. It goes down so easily.
Yeah, it's smooth.
That's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous.
You guys are also provided with bread, meat, and cheese.
All the better to sandwich with.
Yes.
I will eat the bread and cheese.
Okay.
As will Seven Owls Wise.
More meat for Sakar.
I'll do as Master Orm taught me.
Oh, you're here too. Seven
You're going
Owls
to chew on
stands up
flowers?
and walks over to him and sits down a mead in front of him. Drink. Goes wandering
thank you.
back around the table. Sits down again.
Do you not drink at all?
Enough has already been forgotten.
That's funny and sad. Well, have a little sip. It's just a impressive taste.
It's good for you.
Otherwise, if you're not going to have it, hand it over.
Slide it on over.
All right.
Albrecht is now drinking two-fisted.
Some of us could do with a bit more forgetting.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we drink.
Let's drink.
Sakara will eat all the meat.
Okay.
Apparently.
Yep.
Wait, does Albrecht eat meat?
Yeah.
Dahlin eats meat.
Dahlin eats meat?
That's what Master Orm told him to do. You put the meat and the cheese between the two slices of bread.
Master Orm, inventor of the sandwich.
It's a wise man.
I know. And we will get him out of there soon.
Yes.
Do the Barrack and what's it called? Or Barrett and Otto come and eat?
No, but they're around.
Okay.
If you want to talk to them, you can. You can get them in here.
Oh, I'll leave them be. I was just curious if they were actually having dinner with us.
No, it kind of seemed like they were also busy preparing things for you guys.
Albrecht, do you have any theories on what these specters might be?
Come from the urns.
Oh, could they just be the ghosts of more powerful people that were captured in the urns?
I think that's just what the urns do.
Oh, is it?
You're in the urn.
It warps you?
So it seems.
Barrett said she remembered being in the urn before she returned.
She did.
Well, then it
Didn't know what that meant at the time.
Sounds like it's a good thing you guys got her out of there.
It really does.
Even though it feels as though this is all our doing once again.
Well,
I mean, we didn't know that we were doing wrong by resurrecting her.
Seems like we didn't know much of anything.
yeah, it sounds to
Certainly
me that
true.
resurrecting her wasn't so much the wrong thing to do.
Mm.
May not be the easy thing for her, but
No, I mean, at least again, it made her a conduit of these specters, but there's no way to prevent anyone from dying, and being abused by the huntress.
I mean,
Which makes these wars even harder to win. When your own soldiers fall, they end up working for your enemy.
I mean, they found a way around it. Doesn't seem to be pleasant, but I mean, gotta do what you must, as we all.
Do any of you feel that your gourd is, I don't know, home?
Do we get any such sense?
Nope, not really. They're pretty much doing the thing they always do, making you feel bad about your choices.
Just choking and loss.
I mean, Sakar and I feel bad about our choices, and we don't even have a gourd.
Right.
Would you like one?
No.
I don't think it works that way anyway.
If you find one with fangs, perhaps.
I think multiples of them had fangs, if I remember correctly.
They do sometimes have faces.
Well, I think I've had enough tonight. So I grab my gourd and wander off down the hallway.
Did we get him any pants before he does that?
Nope.
No.
So go with the Naked Avenger.
Look, at least he agreed to let me clean the robes.
Incremental progress is still progress. And we have more of a plan than we had before.
Mm-hmm. And we can help another community while we're here the way we did for the elves in the bleak forest. So that makes me feel good.
A little atonement, perhaps.
Yep.
I think I've also had enough. 2 of these, and I'm already starting to just a little bit lightheaded.
Yeah, I'm trying to just nurse this one. Little sips.
Be very careful.
This is why you share with the dwarf.
Yeah, that's smart.
Never goes to waste.
Would be a shame to waste something this tasty.
We should tell Dahlin of the time that Orem got stuck in the insect tank.
Wait, what? That happened?
You were there?
The insect tank?
Yes, in the southern continent. The scarab machines.
Oh,
Ah.
you mean the yes, the I was
Locust
thinking of like
tanks.
the locust tanks. I was thinking of a tank that you would I don't know, keep
House
fish in.
insects in?
Yes, exactly.
A
A
terrarium?
tank full of insects. A tank that looked like an insect.
It was a tank that looked like an insect, though.
He got stuck in one?
Yeah, well, not so much as was he in one? I remember I went in one to try to get the driver out, and then he activated the self-destruct button, and I had to jump out before getting exploded. When was Orem in one?
I thought that Orem was in one right before they went into the... I don't know. The meat is very strong.
Oh, I guess he was in the back of. What that wasn't? Was that a tank? That was a when we had him in the water to sneak us into the
Yes,
archive.
exactly.
That wasn't a tank
Another
though. That was something
perfectly
else.
appointed plan. I think it
Nope.
was a tank.
You guys hijacked a locust tank to get
Oh,
into
it
the
was a
archive.
tank? Yeah, no, you're right. That was a tank. I'd forgotten about
It
that.
was in fact a tank carrying a tank.
Yeah, it was a good time.
The tank carrying tank,
Not,
which then attached to a tank.
not one of my best plans, but it was
Uh,
bold.
It was. And honestly,
Are there any other
we didn't
kind?
necessarily know that they could see directly through any illusion, although again,
No. Yeah, that was a problem. And that kill room was a real problem. We were very, very lucky that the Greenwood's rebellious daughter was on a mission there herself.
we killed her too.
Yeah, that was her mission. I mean, I'm sorry that things went that way, but she knew what she was signing on for.
Hmm.
I am sorry that we unwittingly revealed her organization's secrets. I hope that they can endure this. There aren't that many of them.
Wait, what organization?
Oversight. It's a organization that monitors the vertices, as Sakar was saying. It's complicated, but apparently there are worlds not just our own, and not just like the Feywild or the Astral Sea.
Entirely different worlds with different rules.
Different gods.
That gem that felt so very unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
It's from another place, for lack of a better word, one that's incredibly difficult to get to and, more importantly, back from. But there are many, and our world is just one. It's
How did Master Orm get stuck in one?
Well,
he was captured. They treated your kind very poorly on one of those worlds. I believe that their version of the Fae was even more, how to put this delicately, impulsive.
No, I think it wasn't that. It was very powerful. It was a world where the split between the Eladrin, the Drow, and the Elves never actually happened. And without that fighting amongst themselves, the Fae were very, very powerful and dangerous. And the non-Fae of the world had developed a way to fight them using this crystals. And because we observed it, Asmodeus observed it, and apparently figured out a way to get or make more of them, and has been using them to capture Eladrin.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see anybody get out of one?
We did. We saw the Queen's rebellious daughter remove Orem from one, but she used a device we don't have, and I don't know how she used it.
Oh.
I believe it was Sonic, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do any sort of sonic attacks.
Neither do I.
We'll figure something out. Master Rivendorn is clearly not in pain, which at the very least is a step up.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Except for maybe psychological pain. He seems lost.
Well, so were we.
Is he lost or just stuck?
Perhaps both. Hard to say.
You were a rat for 8 months. Sakar a tree. Seems likely he's a Cestus situation.
And can't get out.
And is working on a way out.
Sure, I just don't know that he has a way out from inside any more than we currently have a way out from out here.
Well, the Fae of the world that created that trap did not have the Eladrin that we know, and they certainly didn't take into account the unrelenting nature, for lack of a better word, of Master Rivendorn. So if anyone could get out of one, I would say he might be the one who could.
I think he's going to
We
need
might
some
return
help.
to find him brushing his hair on the ship.
Honestly, I guess it's possible that now that it's not attached to actively a gift drawing power from it, that he could find his way out.
Mm-hmm.
It's also possible that the activation of the next gourd would provide something. I mean, the gourds were what helped me break out of my stasis.
That's true.
Seven Owls
When we
comes
return to
wandering
the
back
ship,
in.
we need to watch for the troops.
I think I'm lost.
Oh,
All right, I'll take you where you need to go.
No, thank you.
thank you, Dolan.
That place being a restroom.
Here's also where the laundry facilities are. You might want to go back there after.
Okay.
I've just been wandering around for the last, I don't know.
I'm sure the dwarves
With no
are
pants.
thrilled.
How tall is Seven Elves Wise?
Tall enough.
And how tall are dwarves?
Tall
They're like
enough.
4 feet tall, so they're not like a dong level, thankfully.
Wow.
Wow. I was thinking of his bottom, but that's fine too.
Well, now I know the title of this episode.
Not at dong level, thankfully.
I think he was gonna go with I was thinking of his bottom.
Oh God.
This episode has now been rated PG-13 for brief comical nudity.
I guess.
Oh.
I mean, he's got a dot that's, strategically placed.
Still floating through.
It's just
Where
a
do you think
circular
the gourd
blur
hangs
that
off of?
follows him around.
Spell.
Yeah, the gourd is just hovering there. They're so useful, those gourds. Great objects of magical power. Also,
The watermelon of modesty. Yes, folks, it's idiot o'clock.
Oh boy,
I mean,
That
how
meat
often
is
isn't
very
it?
strong.
I'm not even drinking over here, and yet I'm still buzzed.
So Dolan and Seven Owls go wandering off again.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go
Oh,
find
yeah.
a bath.
Sounds good. I'm gonna get some rest.
As am I. Albrecht, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll probably hit the bed soon enough, too.
All right. Be careful. I know you have a tolerance, but that has quite a kick.
Pretty good stuff.
Yes, it is.
Thanks again for finding this place. We could not have done it without you.
Yeah, well, glad you could partake in some dwarven hospitality.
So, again, a nice change of pace.
Mm-hmm. And we harmonize remarkably well.
More or less.
All right,
Team
so everybody's going to
Point
bed.
Face goes off to their
Mhm.
beds.
I think
Yeah.
everybody went to bed.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go shove Seven Owls into a tub and then go to bed.
Okay.
Let him sleep in a tub.
You might want to watch him if you're gonna put him in a tub.
And then 7 Owls
I will
right
consider
into
it.
the bathtub.
But yeah, you can get him washed up, and then off to bed, and you can even go get his robes, and they'll be ready.
Thank goodness. I wonder if Master Orm ever to do anything like this for any of his patriots.
The glamorous life of an adventurer. Oh, for the love of God, shower. But my God is dead. That's why I don't bathe anymore. Yes, for the rest of us.
The cleansing of 7L's wise.
Well, I don't know what else to say. Maybe we just end it there.
Yeah, I want to go with maybe.
Yeah. I guess.
This is a silly episode.
I guess.
It really is.
Too silly.
It's good to have one every once in a while.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for checking out this week's episode of Critical Hit. Hopefully you're not too scarred or scarred from this episode.
Waka waka.
If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, whatever, podcast at majorspoilers.com. Don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/majorspoilers. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2019 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.